This is Girls, Gains, and Growing Pains, a podcast about working smarter and harder to achieve your fitness goals. In every episode, we break down common health and fitness questions in a fun and relatable way.
Whether you're a beginner or far along on your fitness journey, this podcast is for you. I'm Rachel Johns, a bikini bodybuilder, nutrition certified from Precision Nutrition, and NASM certified personal trainer.
And I'm Julia Ross, just a regular gal trying to get healthier and lose weight.
It is important to note that neither of us are medical professionals, and the views expressed on this podcast are those of the host. So today, Julia and I are talking about something near and dear to my heart, and now I think near and dear to yours.
Truly a game changer.
Yeah, is why have a coach? Why maybe get a personal trainer? What that looks like, and where you can go in your journey with having someone alongside you.
Totally.
Because I think that a lot of times people really underestimate the power of that. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you a question first.
Oh, hot seat.
What were your initial reservations if ever having a coach for specifically fitness? Because I know people have coaches in sports and other things, but what with fitness, with the gym specifically, was like, I don't know if I need someone to like really guide me in this. What was your perspective?
So I definitely knew I needed someone to guide me and babysit me, and that was my concern, was that I would be held accountable, and that was what I was running away from, was accountability. Because, you know, when you say, like, oh, I'm going to do, like, this Lumosity learning app or whatever, and you buy it, so then there's like, oh, well, I've already committed, so I may as well do this, like, learning app. And so I was scared that if I made the fiscal and social investment in being held accountable, it would not be good for me, which in the long term it was. So I came around.
I think that's a really good point, actually, is some people are scared of the fact that they're going to get someone and they might not have the option but to succeed, which is kind of an interesting...
Yeah.
Because it's going to be hard work. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, if you get a trainer and you set up your appointments and you actually show up, like, you're going to have to do the workout.
Yes.
And they're going to ask you, how's your food been this week? Mm-hmm. How's your water intake been? I know I go through that with my clients, is every time they come in, I'm like, how was your food this week? Even if I saw them 2 days ago. Yeah. I'm like, how was your food? How has your water been? Did you, walk a lot yesterday? Did you get another workout in yesterday? What have you done since I saw you 2 days ago? Because I want, like, a full informational data collection, basically.
Yes.
When I'm training people. And that can be super, like, almost anxious driving for some people to be like, I'm going to go work out with her and she's going to ask me all these questions about my week. But it's because then I love when clients come in and they're like, hey, I ate really well last week.
Yeah, they did.
And I hydrated.
Yes.
And I feel really good that I hydrated. And I think sometimes they're scared to tell me when things work, because then they're like, now she's going to want me to do that all the time.
Well, and that's the classic phenomenon of working out with your trainer and, like, trying to look I'm so this weight, I can't do it, when you can always tell. You're like, ma'am, why are you smiling right now? I'm perfectly fine.
I have a client who is the sweetest guy. And sometimes I'm like, how's that weight? And he'll be like, oh, not too bad. And I go to get a heavier set. He's like, me and my big mouth. He's so sweet. So
it's too real.
Yeah, people try to lie to me. They've, like, tried to figure out what phrases they can say to me where maybe I'm not going to increase the weight.
You know.
Which I'm sitting there, I'm like, you're paying me to push you. So why are we...
And that's the dynamic.
Trying to manipulate me. My clients try to manipulate me.
You're the mastermind. You can't be out mastermind.
You know that I'm a mastermind.
There's nowhere you can hide.
Nowhere you can hide.
No.
Especially when we're on a one-on-one session at the gym.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I think that's a great point to make, is people are scared of accountability, but they want accountability.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's
I think
push-pull.
Yeah, and I think when people truly fully commit to their goals, where it's like, I am making these changes, the accountability is a draw for them. Mm-hmm. But if you have reservations about making changes and maybe you're not at a point where you're ready to make those changes, then having a personal trainer is like the opposite of what you kind of need to do, because you're not there.
No.
You're not there. And now some people are kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, where they're like, I don't care if I cancel a session with you. I'll come in when I can. Mm-hmm. But, you know, there's like, they won't change their nutrition. Like, if I say...
I mean, I was there too, so yeah. I totally get it.
Getting the workouts in, great. Changing the food, no. Drinking less alcohol, no. Drinking more water even, No. It's like, I just still, every time I think, there was this one post on Instagram that I saw where they were like, everyone asked me like, oh, should I use a waist trainer? Oh, what kind of this do I need? What supplements should I be taking? What should I be doing this? And they were like, I need you to simply exercise 4 times a week. Like, let's start here, and I need you to be more mindful of your eating. Everyone wants all these little, like, hacks to change their bodies quickly, and personal trainers were just like, I need you to do these bare minimum things, these basic things that maybe might take a little bit more effort, and you're going to see drastic results rather than, like, drinking, like, a liquid IV every day. Yeah. I don't know. People think that these little other things are, like, compensating for the bigger picture. And I think with personal training or a coach, whatever you want to call us, because personal training, I think, is very, like, fitness focused. And I think as, like, a coach, I'm doing more than just
totally
like lifting. Like, I care more about the other things. And so it's just I just need consistency from, like, these 2 things, and then we can build on that, because that's what we did with you.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, I am Julia's personal trainer, but we're also, like, best friends.
Also true.
But we have a very good way of keeping those separate. Very honest conversations as personal training. And you know what's too is we don't, like, define those moments, but sometimes when you message me or call me about something, I go into coaching mode. Yeah. And I am no longer your best friend. I am like, I need this from you.
Which is what I need to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have, like, a good, like, compartmentalization. Even when, like, my fiance is like, what should I do? I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, XYZ.
Literally just this.
And I know his lifestyle. I know he's busy. I know who his friends are. I know everything about that. But as a trainer, as a coach, I relay the information that needs to be relayed regardless of my relationship to that person.
That's what makes you so good.
Thank you.
It's true.
So some pros and cons of a personal trainer. I think we're going to give perspective on my perspective as a trainer, and I want you to give me your perspective as a client.
Long-standing client.
Yeah, yes. Since July.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, wow. July. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I have a few, like, online clients who have been with me for a while, and it's so amazing because all of my online clients make just the best changes, and I'm not sure why it is that the online population is doing so well. Like, just incredibly well. Now, given my in-person ones have made really big changes. Yeah. I have quite a few clients in person that just have hit it to a T with what I need them to do. So, anyway, back to pros and cons. What are some pros for you having a trainer? And just to clarify, I train Julia online, and I see you once a week on the weekends. Yeah. But otherwise, you mostly work out by yourself and follow workouts and nutrition based on what I send you. And you've had a person in person too, so you've had that both experience. So I guess from both perspectives, pros of that.
Pros is definitely, it eliminates the uncertainty, especially when you're first starting and you're trying to navigate the gym and you're trying to read, machine instructions, or you're in there scanning the QR code.
The best,
yeah,
right?
Like,
no,
I
they're
have
terrible.
no clue what's going on. So definitely the ease of clarity that comes with working with just an expert is very comforting, and it definitely decreases psychologically my fear of getting hurt, but also the actual likelihood of me getting hurt.
The gym intimidation?
Hello? Hello?
If you haven't listened to the last episode,
Catch up. So definitely, like, clarity, but also because I want to stress the coach aspect of what you do as well. And for people, if they're considering, just pure personal training versus coaching on nutrition as well, is there is so much dialogue around nutrition and so many different perspectives and fad diets. And I was raised on the food pyramid, which is it's not it. So the clarity is really helpful in all aspects, because I even think to myself sometimes, I'm like, even on the 0.99999% chance Rachel is wrong, I appreciate the single voice that I listen to.
That's true. There's consistency with having one coach, and you've been with me long enough to see that what we're doing is working. If you guys don't follow Julia's journey on her Instagram, Dreams to Dumbbells on Instagram.
Yes.
It is amazing. I know clients who I've had see your story, and even your friends do, and have reached out to me about, like, whatever you're doing with Julia is working. Yeah. And I think that's just good affirmation as a coach too, that, what I'm guiding you in, because there are a lot of things to sort through. Even as a coach, there's always new science coming out. People ask me questions about all these new things and everything like that. And so I collect the data and bring it to you in one piece, which I think, you're right, is very helpful to have consistency. So then we're locked in.
Yes, locked in is perfect. It's a single source of authority that I can just put all my trust in you and just let go and follow the process.
Yeah, it definitely simplifies it.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, simplification from your coach. I feel that too. Because I am also a client.
Yes.
From my coach.
You have such a unique perspective.
Yeah, because I am a coach and I have a coach. And I think anyone benefits from having guidance from someone. And since I'm very new to the sport of bodybuilding and having his guidance, so I love to get more information, but it is helpful that he is the one person guiding my food. He's the one person guiding my workouts. He's the one person guiding like these little minor changes I need to do, whether it's like my step count or like hydration or vitamins. Like I just follow his lead, and that simplifies it for me, because I'm also taking information simplifying for my people. So it's a little chain, and I learn from him.
And then we do his leg workouts and I die.
Not so much anymore.
It's true.
So, okay. So do you have any other pros that you...
Other pros? This seems basic, but I think it's important to note the feeling of not being alone in your journey. So even though we are online, like we're separate, when I'm in the gym, just knowing that someone is rooting for me is so helpful, just beyond helpful. Just knowing someone has my best interests at heart, someone believes in me, and then I let your belief in me carry through the days that I don't believe in myself.
Yeah, because there's definitely up and down days, like as athletes, as lifestyle, because you're a weight loss / like lifestyle client. You're not prepping for a competition yet. But so it is kind of hard to go through the day in, day out of this grind, and it's hard to do that alone. I think anything like that's hard to do alone. And it does help having someone who you can text and be like, I don't want to go, but like, and I can be like, no, you got this. Like, I wrote your workout for today and I know you're going to love it. Or not.
I was going to say most likely not.
Sometimes I write workouts and I'm like, oh, this is so good. She's going to hate it.
And I can always tell which ones they are, because I recorded a video of myself just doing like a live reaction to reading my last leg day workout. I was like,
I know.
5 sets of Bulgarian splits. I texted Rachel and I said, like, I'm sending this message from my grave. You have killed me. I am dead. I am lying prone on the hip thrust machine. Don't call me. I hate you. But at the end of the day, the pump, worth it.
The pump. And that was one of the days where you texted me so much and you were like, Rachel, my glutes look amazing. You know, there was like
facts are facts.
You had no hate towards me at the end of the workout. Like once you were done, you were like, oh my gosh, I look amazing. And I was like, every time, I got your best interest.
It's true.
I know the goals that we are trying to achieve.
Well, and that hype is really nice too.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, and I guess pros for me too, with being a client is just having the resource, I think. And then I think too, which I've even on my online clients experienced this, and I experienced this, is I like the group morale of having one coach, because it does still feel a little bit like a team, because my coach has a lot of athletes, and so I've been going to his gym more and meeting them in person. But even you have bonded with some of my online clients.
Oh, totally.
Because you're like, oh, she motivates me. And she's like, oh, she motivates me. And then you guys connect and, you know, you're liking each other's Instagram stories and stuff like that. Yeah. It creates this environment of like, we are all doing this at the same time. We're all struggling through, you know, some hard workouts, but we're all reaping benefits. So we're bonding over it. And it's just a cool dynamic, because I get that too. I bond with, you know, the other girls that are doing bikini, and we did posing sessions together the other weekend.
Yeah.
So there's like a team around. I think that's a pro of it too, is when you start with a trainer, that trainer probably has other clients that then you can relate to. You just created yourself a little crew. One of my old trainers, I became really close friends with one of his clients, and he says we trauma bonded.
I know, the whole time you were talking, I was like, it's because we share the mutual suffering that you cause us. We'll text each other from the stairs, be like, hey, how are your stairs going? Horrible. How are your stairs going? Yeah. Horrible.
It is. It's totally trauma bonding, because this girl and I, we didn't really talk prior, and then she started training with Parker, and all of a sudden, we became friends, and we've been friends ever since. She's like, I mean, I can talk to her about anything, and
yeah.
It's amazing how that morale can keep you going. Because sometimes she comes to the gym now and I'm like, dude, I'm not feeling it. She's like, I'm not either, but we're doing the same muscle group, so we'll work out together. And then it's like
yes.
We get it done. So it does, that's one of the pros. And one other pro that I wanted to mention is as a trainer, as I see people in the gym, some people come in and they just do whatever. Like they have no sense of a program for themselves, which we see a lot is people's bodies not changing. Like they come to the gym for like 3 or 4 years and nothing has shifted in their body. But when you have someone programming your stuff and being like, okay, they're doing this week, but next week we're going to do this so that we hit this muscle group and we need to do this amount of reps. Then we're going to kind of deload it and then we're going to, do a strength week. Like programming for you and you're not just walking blindly into the gym.
Yeah.
Is totally a different story than people who don't have someone programming for them. Like it truly is. Programming is one of the main keys to being successful in the gym. Like Olympic athletes don't make it to the Olympics by just doing random workouts every day.
But I hit my 30 minutes on the weight floor.
Yeah, because it's just like, you need to focus on what's not growing, what's growing, what are our goals. And I was just talking to a guy at the gym about this the other day, and he was like, yeah, like my upper body, like it just grows really well, but I do 2 days of upper body and I do 1 day of legs. But he's always telling me he's complaining his legs are small. And I'm like, well, what if you do 3 to 4 days of legs, catch yourself up, even yourself out?
Yes.
He was feeling like a little self-conscious about his
physique.
Happens.
Yeah.
But he has no one programming for him. So he's just like, yeah, that would probably help if I, figure that out. And so it does totally help to have someone who's like checking what your muscles are doing, what your body's, what your weight's doing, and being like, oh, okay, you have very developed quads and hamstrings, and we're working now more so on the glutes and like a lot less quads.
Yes.
And then focusing on other areas where we need to improve versus just here's a bunch of random exercises, have fun.
Well, and it's very tempting when you have a muscle group that overdevelops to just keep working that muscle because it feels good. You can lift the heaviest and it's the easiest to get results. So you really need an outside perspective to push you to say, I love that leg presses are not hard for you, but like I need you to shake it up.
I need to do lateral raises.
Oh. Which I have now done, and now my shoulders are growing. Almost like listening to you actually works. It's mind-blowing.
It is crazy. I love it. She literally sends me pictures. She's like, look at my shoulders.
Look at them go.
I know. It's amazing. Amazing. Yeah. So with kind of all of that, I want to go back to a little bit about the accountability factor of this. And I think still at the beginning of your journey, I was not your accountability necessarily until you fully trusted me to be your accountability, to fully like dive into it. And I guess my question is, where was your moment with me where you were like, okay, like I need to do this because Rachel is like watching me? Because I know for me, I do my workouts because I'm like, I'm going to check in with Enrique and I want him to be proud of me.
Yeah.
Because it is different, because we have a different dynamic. We are not just client coach.
Yeah.
Because I know I've always been one to want to impress my coach. But now I feel like you get so excited to tell me when your changes are and what that looks like and where things are developing. And that has slowly changed for you, because at the beginning I think you kind of shied away from it. You didn't really care as much if I was upset with you or not. No. I think you were just kind of like, But now I feel like it's like, I did my shoulder workout, I did my leg workout, I still got here, I did my Bulgarians. Yeah. Like there's a whole new level of like almost like she's a proud mom moment, kind of like,
yes,
like where you want to do well because also your coaches invest in that time. So where did that kind of flip for you?
I think it flipped for me, gosh, because it was,
if there was a moment, if not,
it was kind of like a slow slip almost, where I would give in to you a little bit more every day, where one day I'd say, oh, well, Rachel said I should eat a little more protein. Like there's no way I'm tracking all my macros or going to the gym, but dang it, I'll try some more protein. And then that would work. So I think the trust built incrementally, where I needed to prove to myself that what you were telling me to, because the things that you have to do while you're being coached can be uncomfortable. And so I, being a highly reactive person, don't like being told what to do. And so as soon as I reframed it as I'm leveraging this person's expertise to make my own decisions, and then with that comes accountability to self, which I think we don't acknowledge really very often. And so once I paired my accountability to myself with the accountability to you, and then the constantly those little things proving to be correct over and over and over again, I think that's what did it. So I think if you're toying with a coaching journey or any fitness journey, don't set your alarm for 5 a.m. the next day and eat like a bunny rabbit and, you know, like just don't go all in. I think it's really helpful to build the trust with yourself and with your coach to do the littler steps and prove to yourself, because those build up over time for sure.
Yeah, I've had a few clients where I would repeat myself to them of what I would like them to do, and they would do it, and then eventually they would try one thing.
Yeah.
And my client who listens to our podcast religiously,
hello,
she expressed that to me. She said, "You've been telling me this, all these things that I needed to do for the past year," and she's like, and then once I finally did it, now she's constantly doing it.
Yes. And
you know, I love when my clients are like, "Hey, I thought of you the other day. Like, I was thinking about you. I needed to hydrate." And I'm like, I love that. I love that. And there is that development of trust, because it is a trusting relationship. You're trusting someone with your body, but then you're also trusting yourself with your body, because then you're like, I know what I need to do for it. And as you know, I listened to another podcast by bodybuilders that I admire and got to meet, which is really cool.
It's casual. It's fine.
They say on their podcast, they're like, isn't it amazing what our bodies would do if we just showed our bodies love? And I think that's where it's like, it's scary to be like, I'm going to hold myself accountable, because what could happen? You know that like kind of cliche quote that's like, but what if I fall? But what if I fly?
Oh.
I do think that
it's
that
true.
Plays a, because I think people are like, because fitness and health and being healthy is such a beautiful feeling.
Yes.
Like, you feel very empowered in those moments, but I think there's a little fear that, like, if I start this, like, I'm eventually going to be all in on this. Like, I'm going to be the person that still works out on vacation. I'm going to be the person that's still mindful of their food. You give away a lot of this, like, unhealthy freedom, I think. I think there's a really nice, beautiful thing in, like, controlling how you're taking care of your body. Like, that's really self-love to me, is what am I doing for my body? How am I taking care of it? Like, how am I nurturing it? Like, nurture it like you would nurture your child.
Totally.
Because literally, if you don't have a healthy body, like, what are you going to do?
No.
You know, it's very important. And so that self-accountability, that self-love that you demonstrate for yourself, when you get someone like a coach to be there alongside of you, like, you might feel almost like forced into like caring about yourself, and that can be really scary, that you're like, man, someone else is right alongside me, give me every resource, like I have no excuse, no reasons to not take care of myself, like I'm the only person standing in my way. And so getting a trainer can be really scary, because you're like, I'm gonna have this person who is gonna invest time and energy and like care, because like I care about my clients, like they are my people. I will bend over backwards for my clients, because I really care that they are making improvements, and like I'll sit on the phone with them for an hour if that's what we need to do.
Yeah, you do.
And I think there's this level of fear from people that like when they get a trainer, it's like, oh my gosh, like I literally have no excuses, but I'm gonna try to make them. And so once you kind of get past that point, then it's like the accountability feels good.
Yeah.
But I think you have to, my coach has a phrase that he even has like on his wall in his gym, is like, get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
Like there are going to be a lot of uncomfortable moments and a lot of uncomfortable conversations, because getting yourself healthy and on track is uncomfortable, and it is a big self-reflection moment. It is a big self-reflection moment to address why we're eating, to address what we're eating, to address our lifestyle habits. I've had conversations with people, I'm like, why is it hard for you to only drink maybe once a week versus 5 times a week? And that's like this like really big self-reflection for people. But your trainer can have those honest conversations with you, which is also really scary.
No, it is. It is. Well, and I think a lot of people hesitate to do the training because they think it's like just going to be too hard.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to note that trainers will work with you and meet you where you're at. Like, it's not going to be like we talked about on, I can't remember what episode, where like going to the gym with like a romantic partner who's specifically male will likely like rack up the weight and just tell you to keep pushing, where a trainer's not, or I should specify, the right trainer is not going to do that to you. Like when you told me to do the stairs and I said, not happening, and you said do 2 minutes on the stairs, I said, fine, whatever. And then I did it. I didn't die. I didn't perish. But if I had been, well, truly, if I had been on Pinterest and saw like a booty growing cardio Stairmaster plan, it would have said start at 20 minutes and then do 30 minutes the next day and then 40 minutes the day after that. Like those little freaking watercolor background calendars. Like that's not how your body works. And then if you're working with a trainer, they can do those baby steps with you. And it, for me, it felt a little frustrating at first because I was like, I'm not sitting on a hoard of cash, sadly. If anyone would like to invest in me, please let me know. I am taking sponsors.
At all the sponsors.
But truly, at the beginning, I was like, oh, like I'm paying for this gym, I'm paying for these supplements, I'm paying for a trainer, and I'm only doing these baby steps. Like I'm only doing this, or just like the key phrase is I'm only doing. But that is so necessary to build a foundation for what comes after. You can't just dive into the deep end. You have to get used to the temperature and wade your little self down in, and then you'll be treading water and it'll be great. So I think it's important that when you start working with a trainer, you don't freak out and you're like, oh, well, I thought I'd be lifting and like super heavy and all of these things, because you're not.
I like what you said, because you're like, I'm only doing these things. And something I've kind of taught my clients is too, is I'm like, but that was a lot more than what you're doing before.
You tell me that all the time.
Yeah. And I have clients who they're like, well, my cardio is only walking on the treadmill. I'm like, yes, but before this, you wouldn't even step foot into a gym. So yes, we're taking these baby steps, and yes, maybe we're doing banded stuff, or maybe we're just doing light weights, and that's fine though.
Water aerobics.
Because it's not a sustainable thing to start just like crazy. And that's where having a coach that is personal to you, that's why it's a personal trainer.
Yes.
Not group fitness, not anything like that. Like a personal trainer who can sit and do an onboarding with you and say, where are you at? Where are you comfortable at? Okay, we're not going to put you on the stairs, but let's get you seated on a bike.
Yes.
Okay, that's a first progression. And then that progresses. And then, I'll add 2 minutes here and there. But that doesn't feel that big, because you're like, okay, well, I've been doing 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Should add 2 more minutes. But that 2 more minutes, then, we build. We create a foundation and we build. And that's where having someone who can just guide you in that is so essential to a long-lasting journey, rather than these quick turnaround ones that people experience where they just can't stay accountable. They just, lose sight of the goal. Yeah. And checking in every week and be like, okay, we're progressing here. We're progressing here. We're progressing here. Because sometimes I do that with you and I'm like, do you remember where we started? Like, do you remember what we used to do that used to be hard, and now it's like your warm up? And even though you might be like, but I think I should be lifting heavier, it's like, again, we started in July, not even a year ago. It's like, do you remember where you started?
So crazy.
And your trainer can always reel you back in when you're having maybe like the body dysmorphia, where you're having self-doubt.
The comparison moments.
Yeah, where you're getting frustrated, because it's like, sure, maybe we're plateauing a little bit. That's inevitable.
Yeah.
But we can continue moving out of that. But it's okay. Also sit in the happiness of like, wow, look where we got here. Let's like maintain for a second. Give our body a little chill pill, and then we'll keep going. And a trainer is the person that not only teaches you how to lift, not only teaches you how to do nutrition, they are there for you to go through those moments where it's like, dang, like I'm getting really frustrated. Like I can't lift past this weight. And it's like, it's okay. Because you used to lift 5s and now you lift 20s. So we're like much further along than we used to be. So be okay with that. Let your body sit here and learn how to lift this weight, and we'll progress. And so having a trainer to affirm you in all of those different self-doubts and, body image and comparisons. And I know we do that, but, it's also cool because there's other moments as a trainer that I get to see where you were like the other day sending me so many comparison photos.
This is true.
And you're like, oh my gosh, like, look. Can you believe, like, this outfit used to fit this outfit used to fit like that. And I think that was a moment for you where you're like, oh my gosh, like, I can tell you as many times as I want that you've come so far. And yes, I think you do truly, like, believe me and, like, feel that. And you're, like, grateful for that. And, but I think for you, it was your own moment where you were like, I did awesome. Like, I'm doing awesome. Like, I am doing what I set out to do. Even though it took you a while to get into that routine, we were right. I was right there with you, and we grinded it out. And now you're kind of sitting there like, I did this. Because at the end of the day, I can tell you to do everything you want to do. You have to do it yourself. And I think for the first time, I think you really sat there and you were like, I did this. Like, I just changed my whole life.
Yeah, from the ground up.
Yeah.
Well, and I think as you were talking, the phrase that came to my head is like that saying, and again, just classic, like, Pinterest is not your personal trainer. On Pinterest, it'll say, after 2 weeks, you're going to notice. After 4 weeks, your friends are going to notice. After 6 weeks, everyone else is going to, like, no. What normally happens in reality is after 3 days, your trainer notices. After 2 months, your family notices. 4 months, other people start to notice. And then, like, 8 months later, you notice. Like, how that's
the last person,
for me.
because you see yourself every day.
Yeah.
No, and I like that you said that, too, because some people will be like, so when will I notice change?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you're going to notice change when you consistently make new habits.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to change in 1 week of being consistent. You're going to change when you've had, 6 to 8 weeks, and you're going to feel different. But the goal is not like, when am I going to see physical change? That's not going to motivate you. You are going to demotivate yourself, because you have to just change the habits and consistency first. Yes. That's where your trainer is going to guide you in that and keep you accountable. So that starts to flow. So that starts to become easier. We're here to make that process easier.
Yeah.
And we're here to, I don't know what the word is. We're here to,
like, guide, propel.
Yes, like, propel that process.
Yes.
So that you're not spending so much time fumbling around figuring out what the heck you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've been trained.
Yes.
To guide people in these
That's
things.
literally why your profession exists.
Literally my job.
Science.
I tell Ethan that all the time. He'll be like, are you sure I should do this? And I'm like, literally, that's my profession. Like, you've seen that I know what I'm doing.
Yes.
So please, don't ask me a question if you do not want the accurate answer. Tell him that all the time. I think it drives him crazy. Yeah. So yeah, it's my job, and yep. I feel that I do it very well, and I feel like I guide very well. And if you find the right trainer for you, then you are also going to be guided well to a place where you want to be. And now it's not probably going to be as fast as you want it to be. That is a misconception about personal training. We are not giving you a magic pill to get you to your goals in 6 months.
Yeah, you don't, like, end your session and get, like, a blue pill and be like, all right, enjoy.
Right. You also don't get a gold star for showing up once a week with me. Like, I want consistency throughout the whole week. The whole week, I want the nutrition to happen.
Yes.
And so your goals are not going to happen overnight, and your trainer only has so much control over what you're doing. Like, I am not going to sit there and knock the snack out of your hand, or I am not going to sit there and tell you don't have, like, the 4th drink that night. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, there has to be willpower to do these changes. So do not get upset with your personal trainer. Just fire your personal trainer because you're not seeing changes. Nope. They are not the issue, probably.
Yeah.
Okay? Play some Taylor Swift of I Am the Problem.
It's me.
Because people blame personal trainers all the time. Like, I'm not making progress. I'm like, honestly, what they're doing with you is probably more than you were doing before. But to make these big significant changes, as you have noticed, it takes a lot more effort than showing up to the gym, which we've talked about. So instead of getting upset with your personal trainer, say, hey, what else can I do that would get me closer to my goals? And how are we going to be accountable for that? Like, how is that process going to be? Address that with them. Don't just get upset with them, because that for them is frustrating, because they're like, what do you want me to do? Like, you won't be mindful of your eating. I don't know what I can do, only so much in the gym. So when you do get a personal trainer, talk about those things. Talk about, I have troubles with this. How do we address that? What are ways that I can stay accountable when I'm not seeing you? How can I change this lifestyle habit? Like, that stuff, trainers can help you with. Because they also go through that. Most trainers are also people who are really into fitness and health themselves, and they deal with their own programming and their own nutrition.
Yeah, like, people get into personal training for a reason. They're really passionate about it.
Exactly. Most personal trainers are passionate about personal training. Yeah. Because they love fitness and health.
It's a cool job.
Yeah.
It's neat.
So ask them about that. Address that stuff when you get a personal trainer. Versus getting upset with them because you see them twice a week and you're not seeing these big shoulders.
Well, and that upsetness is all projection.
Yes.
Like, when you're upset at your trainer for not having changes happen, take a step back. You're upset at you. And that's that whole self-reflection piece. It sucks to realize you're projecting. It's hard. It's like, I don't want to be the problem, and yet here I am every time.
But it's so good to realize where you can help yourself. Because I think some people see that and they're like, well, I just can't do it. Like, it's good to be like, you know what? I can make changes. Maybe it might be little, but like positively see what you can do for your body. See it that way. See it not as a punishment to yourself. Like, oh, I got to this place and that's my fault. And it's like, okay, sure, you had these habits that were bad, but how are you going to love yourself now? Because you can't change those past habits. So get into the mindset of like, how am I going to help myself now? Getting a coach is one of those steps, is having someone to guide you, help you, and whatever financially that looks like. If that's you see a trainer for 30 minutes a week, and at least during those sessions, ask for help on nutrition and habits and everything like that, whatever that looks like, that is worth it. Like 100% to have guidance and, you know, someone to talk to about those struggles, because I'm sure either they have had clients with very similar struggles. I have clients who contact me and they're like, well, I have these joint problems, I had surgery on this, or I have this autoimmune disorder. And I'm like, look, I have trained an array of clients. Like, you are not alone in this, and like, I can help you with that. And there's other people who can relate to you, and even other clients I can connect you with who also have the same thing. And so it's not about like, I did all this to myself, or I have all these issues, I can't make changes. It's like, okay, we're starting here. This is our point A. And I tell you that a lot. I'm like, just all remember where your point A was, where we're at now, and like where we're going. Like, we are not at point A anymore, and therefore we have made progress.
Yes.
Whatever that looks like. And your trainer, your coach, is going to help guide you through that and remind you of that.
Well, and I was right there. I mean, because I was thinking now too, thinking back to your question of like when the switch happened for when I started trusting you, I would tell you all the time, look, Rachel, I really want to lose weight, but I can barely go upstairs. I can barely walk because of my knee. And so I can't do physical activity. I'm just going to have to diet my way like all the way down, which was absolutely not happening. So I realized that the knee was definitely being a crutch for me. And so you worked with me and we did stuff that didn't involve my knee, like novel concept. I didn't even know that was possible, because we have these socialized ideas of what cardio looks like and what weightlifting looks like. But when you work with a trainer, especially an experienced trainer who's worked with people with similar conditions or setbacks, you're going to be okay.
Yeah, I think people come in a lot with, I always say people come in with a lot of excuses, and people are like, no, that's just a reason I can't do it. I'm like, no, because you can always do it. I have trained people who you could not even imagine could do stuff at the gym, that we still did stuff at the gym and still made progress with. And always take those excuses and turn them into like reasons why you should. So if you're like, my knee hurts, therefore I should not work out. My knee hurts, therefore I probably should work out. I probably should strengthen the muscles around my knee. I should strengthen the tendons. I should maybe lose weight so that I'm not putting so much pressure on my skeletal system. That's a reason you should. And some people are like, well, I have like this autoimmune disorder, therefore maybe I shouldn't. And I've worked with actually quite a few people with autoimmune disorders. Yeah. And a lot of times it does help to keep doing some exercise and getting yourself there. And mentally it helps. Yes. And so people come to me with all of these excuses of why they should not do it, when really those are their underlying reasons why they should. Man. Like, that truly changes things for people when I tell them, like, I hear what's holding you back, what's limiting you, but that's also why you should be here, because I can modify things. I can make sure. I had Allie, she came in, she had like a fractured lower back. Like, yes. And instead of being like, Rachel, I can't do this, I'm like, actually, this is what we can do, and that's actually going to prevent any other damage to your back. And now, you know, like, you think you hurt now, just keep doing what you're doing for a couple more years, and then go to your doctor and see what happens. And you know what? Like, I think it was like 3 or 4 months in, she texted me. She's like, I just had my first, she's a nurse. She's like, I just had my first shift with no back pain. And that came from exercising and nutrition. Man. And that could have been such an excuse for not working out, where so many people probably would have affirmed her in that too. Like, oh, you can't work out. Yeah. But instead she took care of her body. She loved her body through that process. And therefore, you know, now she can like squat, and she's super strong in her upper body too. And she can do all these things, but because instead of taking her excuse, she made it her reason to make changes. And I think that's where having a trainer to nurture those reasons And then also too, when you have someone who's been alongside you the whole journey, like they are not just some like complacent friend who's just like, oh, let's go to the gym once every so often. Like this is someone who is so invested in you. And then when those changes happen, you get to sit there and be like, I feel so good.
Yes.
And then they can be like, yes, remember when this used to hurt you? Like they are the person that's like, you're hype. Like we need that.
Yes.
This is hard work.
It's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Like it's mutually beneficial for both the trainer and the client, for the client to make progress. It's a happy time all around.
Awesome. I love when people check in with me with their check-in photos.
Yeah.
Because I love seeing the progress. Or even if there wasn't much progress, I'm like, okay, what are we doing this week? Like, how are we making this change? And I feel like that's where I get to really coach very well, but also like I get to see how excited people get. Like I had a client who was the first day we started training, she did not want to weigh herself.
Oh, babes, I've been there.
She didn't want to weigh herself.
Yeah.
But she did. And then 3-4 weeks later, she told me, she's like, I was so excited to send you my weight this morning.
Oh.
That change, you know, it's crazy. It's amazing. It's amazing having clients who really care. And, you know, it's amazing for them to have a coach that cares. Because I know when having a coach that cares, how that feels too. Mm-hmm. And people totally underestimate the high value of having someone like that. It is worth the financial investment. And I tell people that all the time. I'm like, you spend $200 on a facial every month. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. But you won't spend $150 on a trainer for the whole month.
Well, and even like, because you work with a lot of like Equinox people who've got like the bank, but I know for your online clients, like me included, I thought of it for myself as more like, okay, I'm going to pay $150 for training, but then I'm saving the $75 twice a month in chiropractic, and I'm saving the $50 I would spend on eating fast food. Like you have the resources. Like, obviously, I mean, there are situations, but most of the time there are shifts that can be made to invest, because it really is like a stock. Like, it's like getting in at Apple right when it started, because you know it's going to work. Like, it's going to work. It's science. Like, you just do what you're supposed to do and it's going to work. So
yeah,
I think of it as a long-term investment of, I'm going to save so much more money when I'm older and I can still pick things up and play with other people's grandkids. Oh, yes.
Medical bills are
oh, my gosh.
a big driver for people.
That was for me. Yeah.
I mean, in the chiropractor, I've had so many people have to that stopped seeing their chiropractor after they, you know, started going to the gym and working out. Sorry, chiropractors. But sorry, not sorry. Okay.
Well, and even like the knee, like I was, around the time we started training, I was a week out from going into the doctor to get like a pre-surgery consult for my knee.
Isn't that crazy?
And instead I can hop, skip, and jump around less than a year later.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just amazing what that investment does. And, and there's things that change, because once you start monitoring, you're like probably not getting Starbucks every day like you used to, which is like $7 a day. You know,
and climbing.
Pretty much it like evens itself out by changing your nutrition and everything. It's like, it's amazing. You probably will eat like less foods and you drink more water instead of like coffees and teas and juices and all this other stuff. So the investment is totally worth it, whether that's having someone in person or even online. Because I think online training has also been very well developed.
Yes.
Compared to what it used to. And that's how you train. That's how, obviously, all my online clients train.
Yeah, for perspective, just for people who like, because I know before I started working with you, I was like, well, how can you train someone online? Like, I was I didn't know what I was thinking. But we have an app where you input the workouts, and every workout has like how many times I should do it. So how many like reps, and then how many sets of reps. So how many sets should I do? And then there's a video explaining how it works, and it's updated all the time, and I can leave notes in there. So like,
and I leave little love notes on the exercises too.
Yes, you do.
I'm like, make sure you hold the bottom of this rep for 2 counts.
Which I don't know.
Yeah. So,
but then I can be held accountable to that, and I'll write in the notes like, hey, I was in the zone and I did not read your note, and so all of these were just like 1 beats, you know, whatever. But we went to the gym.
We did.
And
you know what too is a lot of times throughout the month we'll do another workout the same way, and then you're able to go back and do it. because we've been progressively overloading them. And so this is also, Julia and I, we train online. And so if anyone is interested in training online, you get to join. You can join the crew.
The Cool Kids Club. You can sit with us.
You can.
Fun fact.
So yeah, because Julia's been my client. Yeah. I have quite a few other online clients, and it works really well. So if you're someone who is also on a budget, that's when I decided to do online personal training. I decided it was not going to break the bank, because when I've worked at commercial gyms, I feel like this wrenching thing in my stomach where I'm like, I just want to help every person that walks in here.
Yeah.
And financially, that does not always work. It just doesn't.
I started with a trainer at my bougie gym, and she was amazing. Like, no harm, no foul. I couldn't. It was like a small down payment on a car every single month. Like, online. Yeah.
I get it. I do. And some people, that works great. And
if that's available to you, power to you. But don't let that hold you back from pursuing online solutions, for sure.
So when I developed my online clientele, I was like, it's not going to break people's banks. And yes, I'm not going to be doing Zoom calls with them and stuff like that, but they can send me videos. They can, we check in every week. They send me pictures, their weight. We have an online consultation where we sit and talk, and I get like all the information, explain everything, how to track, everything like that. And it's $150 a month. $150 is very doable a month. Yeah. In my opinion. Yeah. I don't know if you agree, but in my opinion, it is. And because I pay for my trainer every month.
Yeah, you do.
And, he's a bit more expensive because he's
specialized. Yeah.
He's specialized in a very, stuff. And also we check in very, very frequently.
Very frequently.
Since it's, for a competition and everything. But my lifestyle weight loss clients, like $150 a month to have an online trainer and have someone I think I do a great job with my online clients in responding and answering questions and stuff like that. So that's a great option. And there's also other online personal trainers. If I'm not your match, then there's other people.
Yes. You know a guy.
Yeah. You can find whoever fits maybe the coaching style you need. Yeah. And that is always going to give you more guidance than walking into a gym by yourself with nothing. So I think whether you can do it in person, whether you can do it online, whether you can even do both. I have my online, for a while, I had Enrique doing my online training where he sends me my macros, my workouts, and I had an in-person trainer. I had both. A lot of people do that. Where maybe you can't see your coach, your online coach in person, but you have access to maybe someone else who you can see once a week to just have them watch your form. Yes. That works great. I did that at Equinox with one of the trainers, with actually two of the trainers who I really trusted, who I was gaining knowledge from and getting good workouts in. And now I do drive now to see my coach. I drive like an hour to go see him every week.
Samesies.
Exactly. It is. But it's worth it.
Yes.
And so, yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents on online personal training versus in-person. Do you have anything else that you wanted to add?
Yes, final thoughts for today. I just really want to touch on the psychological aspect of having a trainer, because people talk about, and we'll talk about this in a future episode, about what you see online versus what actually happens with these transformational journeys. And so I think of you as my gym therapist, where there are certain things that I can come to you about emotionally, because like your body changing is psychologically a mind trip, and not being able to eat what you want to eat on a sad day. It's like you need someone to work through that stuff with. And so I think like we've touched a lot on like the physical benefits and the accountability benefits, but if you find a good trainer who can walk with you through all of the emotional, psychological stuff that comes with transformational journeys, I think that is a huge, huge benefit. And that's something that like I don't feel like you should be required to do, but the fact that you like so kindly ask people about their days and you know your clients and you know what's going on in their lives. So this is not me saying go dump your traumas on your personal trainer, but your gym traumas, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, hey, those other experiences do influence how you take care of your body. And like on a sad day, like, yeah, it's good to have someone who knows your goals and says, I understand that you're sad today. Like, I hear you. But what's a healthy way we can maneuver around that?
Yes.
Instead of a friend who's just going to be like, yeah, let's go get some ice cream and let's take care of this, like not healthy. Or like, let's go get drinks. Like, let's, you're going to feel better being like, you know what, you're right. Maybe I need to go on a walk and just get some fresh air. And your trainer is going to be the one that says, in the long run, like, this is a better way to manage that. And so it is different having that. And I love when my clients confide in me, and my clients also say I get told this, I'm like a trap door, but like in a good way, where they're like, everything they tell me I retain.
Yes, a lockbox.
Yes. So they like that, and I really do listen to them.
Yeah.
And I like that they feel comfortable with me, and they form that trust, like literally back to the beginning of what we said. Like forming a trust with your trainer who is helping you make substantial life changes is just the most essential thing. And when you have that trust, like, that bond is strong.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And I do encourage everyone to take that step in getting someone to be that person for them. And also, too, with the financial bit of it, is I offered the first person that I started training online, which was Allie, for this new time that I set it all up.
Yeah.
I told her I would do it for free. She was my friend. I was like, whatever. And she's like, no. I will not do it if there's not a financial burden of this.
Yep.
And that is also so true. So, like, be prepared. Like, that is something you also have to be prepared for. Like, you need to have some accountability in it at the beginning, at least to start. And that's going to be your best investment. It truly is. Investing in yourself is so much better than where you can also spend your money out else places. Like, true. I mean, you'll probably go out to dinner and eat a bunch of stuff and spend $50, $60. That is substantial amounts.
Yes.
For, something that could be so life-changing.
Well, and I always, because there are a lot of, like, hidden costs, not with training, but just with, like, completely flipping your life upside down to be healthier. But I never feel guilty spending money on that stuff. It's always fun. Like, I have shopper's remorse with pretty much everything else where I get it. I'll be like, oh, dang, did I really need that? But when you buy freaking, like, vitamin C, like, it's like it feels like paying for groceries, where you're paying for the things that sustain your life. Yeah. And, yeah, psychologically, it won't hurt as much as I think if you're listening, you're afraid it will hurt. It really doesn't.
No. Vitamin C, they sell those in big bottles.
Just go to Costco, babes.
Just go to Costco. So yeah, I think that's a great stopping place. I think that's a great point to make about there are so many aspects to having a coach, and it's a really nice thing. It's gonna be really comforting after you get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yep.
As Enrique would say. So, yeah, I think that's great. If you are interested in training, feel free to message on the podcast Instagram, probably.
Yes, yeah, podcast Instagram. I will give you an honest take. Rachel will give you her spiel. Yes, and follow us. You can always comment, share. We love when you share pictures of the podcast doing your cardio. We screenshot and send each other. We're like, oh my God, it's happening. So please do that. Follow us on Instagram. We are at GGGP_podcast on Insta, and you can find like our personal fitness socials there as well. And you can always email us at girlsgainsandgrowingpains@gmail.com.
Yes, and then one more thing. Please. Make sure to turn on notifications and follow the podcast on Spotify, because I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you uploaded a new episode. I'm like, yeah.
We're always uploading new episodes, baby. Every Wednesday.
Turn on the notification.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
Excellent note.
All right. And that has been
another episode of Girls, Gains, and Growing Pains.